All right, we'll go ahead and get this meeting started for Walton City Council meeting, June 14th, 7 p.m. All right, if I could I ask everyone to stand for invocation and pledge? Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day on this earth. Lord, we ask that you be with us, that you, Lord, you bless us as leaders for our city. Allow us to make proper decisions. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Giovanna, whenever you're finished passing that out, you give me a roll call.
Roger, don't come on. No, they got to. He's ready.
Unmute. Howard Stevens?
Yes.
John Wainwright? Terry Courtney? Here. Sherry Snowden?
Here.
Dan Martin?
Here.
Matt Brown?
Here.
You want to mute yours?
I think he couldn't hear us well up there.
Yeah, let me mute mine. I think I muted it back.
I think you muted it.
Here.
You'd think 2 years into this, we'd have this figured out by now.
It's tricky, Mayor.
It's rough. Okay.
Do it. Can you all see him?
Thank you, sir.
A few quick announcements. June 20th, the city office will close in observance of Juneteenth. July 4th, city office will close in observance of Independence Day. July 5th, there will be a caucus meeting, 6:30 p.m. at the council chambers. July 12th, there will be a council meeting, 7 p.m. here at the senior center. If I could I get an approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Howard Stevens?
Yes.
John Wainwright? Terry Courtney?
Yes.
Sherry Snowden?
Yes.
Dan Martin?
Yes.
Matt Brown?
Yes.
Okay, and if I could I please get an approval for the meeting, minutes for May 3rd caucus meeting, May 10th council meeting, May 17th public hearing, and the May 26th special called council meeting. In the past, someone's motion to combine.
Motion to combine.
Can I just ask that the public hearing be done, entered into the record separately? The other three are fine, but can we just do the council meetings and the public hearing separately just for record?
Yeah, let's do, motion to do caucus council and special council together.
Second.
Howard Stevens?
Yes.
John Wainwright?
Yes.
Terry Courtney?
Yes.
Sherry Snowden?
Yes.
Dan Martin?
Yes.
Matt Brown?
Yes.
All right, now we need a motion to approve the minutes for the public hearing.
I'll make it.
Second.
Howard Stevens?
Yes.
John Wainwright?
Yes.
Terry Courtney?
Yes.
Sherry Snowden?
Yes.
Dan Martin?
Yes.
Matt Brown?
Yes.
Okay. Sheriff's Department, Major Bill Mark, welcome, sir.
Good evening.
The council's already got my report, but for the viewing audience, The Sheriff's Department conducted 963 law enforcement events in the city of Walton in May 2022. Among those, there were 4 911 hang-ups. Deputies handled 37 alarm drops, 4 attempts to locate, 6 animal complaints, a whole lot of crashes, 32 auto accidents, but if you break those down, 26 of them were on parking lots, and Kroger and the Flying J account for 21 of the 26. Let's see, 15 business checks. Deputies attempted 31 criminal or civil summonses, handled 12 domestics, 4 drunk person calls, 4 emotional crises, 1 juvenile trouble call, 5 motorist assists. They responded to 2 overdoses, 12 requests for information, conducted 406 spot checks, handled 17 suspicious activity reports, 14 theft reports, which is a lot more than usual for the city. A lot of those were thefts of catalytic converters off of vehicles, which is pretty commonplace, unfortunately, anymore. Also, there were 3 thefts of vehicles. All of those were unoccupied vehicles, obviously with the keys in them, on locked lots. And one of the vehicles has been recovered in the city. The other 2 have not been recovered at all. Deputies responded on 33 traffic complaints, conducted 53 traffic stops. It's part of our annual Click It or Ticket campaign. Hopefully Councilman Wainwright wasn't one of our victims this year. We did,
Did not get me this year.
better luck next time. We did 5 vacation checks, responded on 20 vehicle complaints. We unlocked 18 cars for customers, 1 person complaint. All told, deputies issued 39 citations, made 5 arrests for a total, all total 963 events. Any questions or comments?
Just the most recent activity around town with the children throwing rocks at the cars, and I believe on School Road, children had approached a car and they slowed down and they started beating the car, and they said there had been reported to the police. Not familiar?
I'm not familiar with
Okay,
that.
that was all just this week, so I wasn't sure if there was an update on those children.
Was it on Old Stevenson Mill or School Road?
But they believe the children live on Old Steve.
More than likely.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
I'll check on it. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. Chief Joey Vest, good to see you, sir.
Good evening. Fire department report for the month of May. Fire department responded to a total of 194 incidents throughout the fire district. 128 of those were EMS-related type incidents. 26 of those being motor vehicle crashes, 3 of those being overdoses specifically, and an additional 66 fire-related incidents specifically. For the year of 2022 so far, we have responded to 704 incidents total. Out of that 704 incidents, 304 of those incidents has been within the Walton city limits, which breaks down to 44.6% of our total run volume. Another 209 of those incidents were in the Richwood area. That's another 29.69%. 70% is what we consider the Boone County area. It is the outlying parts that's outside the city limits, outside the concentrated Richwood area, but still within Boone County and within the Walton Fire District. That is just under 10% of our run volume down in the Kenton County portion of our district. That was 51 additional incidents, which is 7.25%. And then another 60 runs we responded into other fire districts surrounding us to assist with mutual aid type services, and that is 8.5%. This year, we have responded to a total of 10 building or structure fires so far. Anyone have any questions about my reports? All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. And Cardinal Engineering, Matt Vogel.
Evening, everybody. Passed out my reports already, so I took a look at it. On the High Street Bridge project, last month we discussed that we had the potential to reapply to OKI and request additional grant money, just being that the project's been going on since the initial application. You know, we've had the scope of work change from the conditions put on us by the railroad. You know, construction and freight costs and everything obviously have gone up. So I got the application sent in a couple weeks ago. The new total grant funding that we're requesting is $372,100, and then a $93,000 city match. That's the 20% that's required by OKI, and that is construction, freight, flagging for the railroad, and engineering inspection. That's everything. So I'm hoping to hear something back on that the next few days. You know, if we got that or not. It is scored competitively against any other applications that were sent in, but they seem to think, okay, I seem to think that it would be, you know, when I described what's going on with the project the last few years, they thought that it would be a good candidate for getting more money. If that falls through, if there's another project that outscores us and gets the grant money, we can still apply for a 10% increase on the original grant, which was $228,000, and that's guaranteed. There's no, you know, reapplication, no review, you know, vote from the board or anything like that. It's just, you know, we get it. For the 2022 road projects, we got 3 bids back on the streets project. Initially, just going off the bid totals, Michael's was the low bidder, but there was a typo on one of their light items, and correcting that, it increased their total to almost 148,700. So going by the corrected totals, Eaton Asphalt would have been the low bidder, but I understand the caucus council discussed it, and since, you know, Michael's done good work for us in the past, that they wanted to go ahead and give the contract to them. So I'll be in touch with Pete Michaels in the next few days. Last month we had discussed the potholes that were forming on Service Road by the Bobcat project. I was in touch with the contractor, and so it's actually a subcontractor that was hauling some dirt off site that was accessing the site mostly when the damage happened. So they got them out there, they put some patches in. It is just temporary since they'll be resuming work soon, and it's still going to be taking a beating with heavy traffic, but we'll keep an eye on it. If potholes start opening back up or new ones form, we'll be on them to keep traffic keep it as accessible as possible for traffic until everything's done, and then they'll come back and do a full resurfacing on that corridor pretty much from the curve to the end of their entrance when things are wrapping up. Also, we were contacted by Walton Furnace School to do some culvert replacement at the property across School Road from there. They're using it as an archery facility, and they had an agreement with the city that we would contribute funds towards any kind of culvert work if it was needed. So I talked to Wrigler. They originally sent us a quote for $35,000. So with that being over 30 grand, we would need to bid that out. So I pretty much told them we couldn't work with that unless we either cut back the scope of the project or figured out a way to split costs with the school. The school district is on board with that. We just need to figure out how to divvy it up. I think The biggest item was doing ditching and work on the swale, regrading it because it's got some sediment buildup, and putting erosion control blanket and channel liner on it. It sounded like the school would maybe take that part over or would do the surfacing for the driveway apron since they're going to be repaving that lot anyway. So I've set the itemized quote around where we can figure out how to split it. And then a couple quick MS4 notes. Mr. and Mrs. Farrow over on Brookwood reported that they were having, the road culvert from Brookwood daylights on their property, just past the cul-de-sac. And the Brook Farm that's immediately downstream of there, they replaced a fairly large culvert, I think it's a 72-inch, a few years ago. And I believe it's higher than the outlet upstream, so it catches water until it builds up to a certain point that it can finally drain out. They've said it gets mosquitoes, it gets just film on it. And, when there are heavy rains, that it backs up, into their yard. Also, the culvert from Ashwood behind them, any kind of flow that they get has been eroding the channel through their yard. So I looked, and there don't appear to be any easements on record for that subdivision where the city would be able to come in or the city has a maintenance responsibility of it. But I'm going to at least get an estimate together for what it would cost to make some improvements. I don't know how much, what we can do on the Brook Farm with it being outside the city limits. So we may just have to try and do some grading on the outflow area and either, let's see what we can to make it flow through better. And then once the weather dries up, we'll start doing the major outflow inspections that the Division of Water requires every year. So don't be surprised if you see Cardinal staff, either myself or one of our techs, hiking around and looking in head walls and stuff like that. Be out and about. So, anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Doug Lance with Brennan Group has asked to come and speak to council. Doug?
Yeah, thank you again. Doug Lance with Brennan. I know that, thank you again for letting me speak. Good evening, Gabe and Mike, council. We have a site that we own down on Dixie Highway across from Home and Lumber, the 50-acre site. And we're under contract to purchase the 56 acres, the Tackett site next door to that. And we had come to council, I think maybe when we were virtual, back in early April, and had presented to council a request for the annexation of the site into the city and trade for, in addition to lessening the I-6 zoning to an I-1 or I-2 zoning in April. And I know the council had made a decision that they did not want to approve that and move forward with that at that time. I think that was early April's council meeting. I wasn't present here, but I was out of town uncalled for. But since then, we've done some investigation with our general contractor and our consultants and our engineers, and we can install an on-site treatment system on the site. One of the reasons that we requested the annexation was to bring, number one, bring it into the city of Walton for the city to pick up payroll and jobs, and also to pick up the sanitary sewer and the utility that comes with that. Since that time, we've found out that we can put an on-site treatment system on the site. We feel the site would be great. We've been marketing it to manufacturing, tech, corporate type users, a little bit different than what we're doing next door. We've had some people that have shown some interest. Because of that, we went and investigated what we could do on the site. So we have found out that we can put and design and build an on-site treatment system there that could accommodate any type of a user, manufacturer, tech, distribution, or some type of corporate campus. And I wanted to just let council know that tonight, to see if, give them the opportunity just to kind of rethink the news that we have found out, and see if that you all may want to reconsider potential annexation again with the lowering of the zoning. But I just wanted to advise you all what we've kind of found out, and obviously there's money involved in building the on-site treatment system versus bringing, annexing in and picking up the infrastructure that Walton can provide us. But we know that we can do that, and just want to advise the council of that, and see if they may reconsider our request for the annexation and bringing in jobs and payroll to the city as a result of that. Didn't know if anybody had any questions. Gabe had allowed me to come speak tonight. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Sure. Council questions for Mr. Lance?
So, just a quick question, if you guys can hear me or not.
Hang on, Johnny.
I can hear you.
Yeah, and if you could just give him a microphone, that would be helpful for me to hear.
Let me go over here.
There's one here if you want to grab it.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Okay.
Gotcha, thank you. So, what I heard, and maybe I'm incorrect in hearing it, so I know you came before council before, I know at this time, I know I don't have the, I'm not gonna speak for all six, but I know I don't have the appetite for continuing to annex in property to become warehousing. We don't know the effects of our current, already in the city limit properties. So what your idea today was to come and say, I know you didn't annex it, but we found out we can build our own treatment plant, and I can guarantee you, I'm sure that's at a much higher cost than our, getting into our sewer system. And to say, hey, I know we can do this, so I feel like it's a game of chicken. You're like, hey, we can do this, but reconsider and for sewer. So I just wondered, what was the true? What is that the purpose tonight for you to come and speak? Because it just feels like this could have been an email, but.
Well, yeah, I could have put it in an
maybe
email.
I'm incorrect in hearing it, or maybe there wasn't a microphone, so I couldn't hear it 100%. But that's just the way it felt is like you did some research, you found out you can do a treatment plan, and you're giving us the opportunity to rethink something that we were totally against the first time you came, which wasn't like it was like a year ago. It was pretty recent. So what did I miss?
Yeah, no, I could have put it in an email, but I'd asked Gabe if I could come speak to you all tonight in person. I think it's a little better to do that. If there's any questions, if there's an opportunity to do so. But yeah, when we came before, we didn't know that we could design this type of system. And we've done further investigation. We think it's a great site, and I think it's, the city of Walton would be great to work with on another project. As I mentioned to you before, we think this site would be best for build-to-suit, not a speculative development. We've been marketing it to users, tech users, build-to-suit, corporate type users, and we had found out that we can design and build this on-site system that could accommodate a building there. So we priced it up certainly and looked at how that could work. Obviously, there's different designs depending on the type of building and the number of people. But I just wanted to let you all know that, to see if there's some reconsidered interest versus just moving forward, without the city and building something there where we could still accommodate via a treatment system. But if you all, I understand if the city and council is not into that. We understand that, and you guys have to evaluate the uses and the traffic and what you do or do not want in the city, and we understand that, and I value that too. And I just wanted to come in and just advise council of that in person versus just sending an email for that same feeling that you say, hey, this is just a game of chicken. I mean, it's not. We're looking forward to working with the city on our first project, and I just wanted to advise you all of what we found out. So.
Sure. No, and I appreciate that. I hope that didn't come across that, being disrespectful. I wasn't. I just, I understand, and again, I do business for a living, so I get what you're saying. You're right. You're saying like, hey, we can build it, and I wish you the best of luck. I just know while I'm on council, I'm not going to vote to annex in commercial warehousing until we understand the impact of what our current situation is. So I think it's just a business decision for you and your group to make that decision, but maybe for future council. But I know it's currently, I don't have any interest to revisit it, but I'll open it up to the rest of the council members.
Council?
I appreciate your time, sir, and I know it's probably frustrating to come in front of us again, but I would second what John says. Just when we talk about the southern pump and the sewer and that, and I think we're years behind on that, but yeah, we don't see a fix for a few more years. But again, I would second what John said, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I value your opinion. So.
Any other questions for Mr. Lance? Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ben's not here tonight, is he?
Who's that?
Wayne, got any comments?
I just have one. I never heard any results of the May 17th public hearing.
Can we give a microphone? Whoever's talking.
Hang on, Wayne.
I'm going to move it out here to the middle, Mr. Morse, so that John can hear you. Here you go. I'm just going to bring you the microphone.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Hey, John, this is Wayne Morse. Good evening.
Hey, Wayne.
My question is, we had that meeting on May 17 about the condos being built at the public hearing, and I was wondering, I thought we had till the end of the month a decision to have been made. Has that been made? And is that the construction that's going on right now by Kroger?
No.
Or is that the library?
No.
Or is that something completely different?
It's a senior living facility,
55 units.
87.
Okay.
The condos were denied.
They were?
Yes.
Okay. Was that published somewhere and I missed it?
Yeah, it should be on our website.
We had a special called Zoom meeting before the vote, sir, so I'm not sure if it's uploaded yet or not. The mayor always references our highly trafficked YouTube channel. But you should be able to see that on the YouTube channel. There was a vote, it was a short meeting. Council voted not to move forward with the zoning change.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll hold this for whoever's next.
Okay. Sharon, Dylan, guys?
Jerry, Dylan.
Okay. Moving on.
I'll surrender.
Thank you, Mr. Morse.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it, Wayne. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
City
you being
Council,
here. Thank you.
for disapproving that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. First up is ordinance number 2022-07, a first reading, an ordinance adopting the City of Walton, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Council, you all should have this, and I believe Ben sent you the updated versions as well, but I'll open this up for discussion amongst council. Johnny?
Yeah, I'll go. So first off, I know I don't give these often, but thank you, Gabe. This has been an easier, probably easiest budget process we've gone through, and I think the accountant change was a good one, and I appreciate you trying to get this done in a timely fashion, and from our caucus meeting, getting the information done that I requested. I knew that took some work and some with the accountant, and so thank you. I feel like it's a good budget, right? And so that's my opinion. I feel like the questions that I posed were answered and adjusted. So that's all I got, and I hope my fellow council members trust the fact that I have done my due diligence with the budget as I do every year in review, and so I'll be voting yes for it. So I appreciate it. Again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Got to take those John Wainwright compliments when you get them.
It drives me to the file that Ben did share with us, which were the employee pay increases. And I'm sure you could probably guess what I'm about to say is if we're going to have employee reviews, then I'm still stuck on how is it 5% across the board for those who aren't being promoted, because that wouldn't be a review based on their performance. We're back to the standard 5%, which for those in attendance and who haven't seen, many of these raises because of cost of living are 10% raises. And that's without a promotion. So just being a caretaker of city funds, understanding that I appreciate employees as well, I find it hard to agree with the pay increase structure. Again, when we're working against what's documented and how we should be doing it, which is with employee reviews, not 5% blanket increases for everyone.
Noted. Okay.
So everybody was reviewed the same?
Actually, no, everybody's reviews were definitely varying. But those who got 5%, I felt that they deserved them, and probably everyone else was either, the other three were all promotionary, or, as John would put it, compression related. So really the only ones that got 5% are the office staff, and their reviews reflected that. Good. Dan, you had
Yeah.
something you wanted to.
I had a couple questions from the municipal aid fund. And tell me if I'm missing something stupid, especially Matt and Gabe here. If we're looking at, let me get this pulled back up. So we're budgeting $8,000 for engineering fees on the municipal aid fund. But my records from the end of 2021 show we did $24,600 for that calendar year from July 1st, 2020 to June 24th, 2021. So I'm worried, obviously we're under budgeting here, but if we go back to Ben's numbers, you know, he's showing we did 7,300 last year, which obviously that $8,000 is in line with. So was fiscal year 2021 the outlier, or was fiscal year 2022 the outlier?
I'd say probably 2021 was the outlier. It's really some of our audits that we've shown, it's been shown that we probably shouldn't have been, Dave probably shouldn't have been putting so much into road aid. Road aid we get specifically from the state, a certain amount every year for that. I really don't think that we're over budget on it.
Okay.
I mean, we've pretty much got we've got our road projects now. I haven't seen Mr. Bogan's bill yet on that, but other than, you know, him doing some oversight on it, on the projects as they go, I can't imagine it's going to be much more than that. So I would say it's
So
probably
you're confident with that, you're happy, you're good moving forward, Gabe. That's my big question. I guess the same thing applies to snow and salt removal. We're budgeting 19,000 for this upcoming year. But I know in the past we've done, it looks like 30,000 and then even 75,000 one year. And I wasn't sure, I don't remember 2 years ago, the winter, how bad it was, but.
We've still got a decent supply.
Okay.
And we're on a surplus buy program. That's what Roger estimated for salt this year. He's been pretty accurate on it with everything but predicting the weather. And, 1 year we were almost down to nothing, and we budgeted a lot more than we actually wound up using from the surplus auction, so.
Okay. Cool. That's all I got.
Okay. Matt, Sherry, Howard?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay.
Everything looks as we discussed.
All right. On that note, I would need a motion to approve on first reading, or approve the first reading.
Motion approved. Second.
Howard Stevens.
Yes.
John Wainwright.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
No.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, next is ordinance number 2022-08, first reading, an ordinance of the city of Walton expressing its intent to annex several parcels of real estate owned by Our Lady of Good Counsel Church and Home Sweet Home Trust located along and adjoining the current northwest boundary of the city, located north of Beaver Road, west of I-75, and surrounding Skyway Drive, all as more particularly described and illustrated in the exhibits to this ordinance, and requesting the Boone County Planning Commission to hold a public hearing and make recommendation as to the zoning which should apply once the territory is annexed. Counselor.
Mayor and council, I'll add to this. Attached to the ordinance is a screen grab from the GIS map, and I've numbered the parcels that are proposed to be annexed, and I've also listed addresses and PIDN numbers. This is the purpose of this annexation would be to allow the Catholic Church out there to build a boys' school next to it. This property is currently in the county, so it would require to be annexed and zoned. There's a provision under Kentucky law, under KRS 100.209, that you can sort of do all that in one fell swoop. So once the intent to annex ordinance is adopted, it would be referred to the Boone County Planning Commission. They will hold a public hearing and recommend what the zoning ought to be. Of course, the owners would want the zoning to accommodate the zoning that they have now so that they can add on, as I've described. So that is the title and summary. The mayor read the title. That was the summary that I just put forth. And as you typically do vote on first reading like you just did on the other one, so it'd be appropriate for you to consider that at this point.
Once we annex, it goes to the county and then they change the zone?
No, it's all in one. This is an intent to annex. We're expressing, if this is adopted, we're expressing the intent to annex.
Okay.
So the county would then hold a public hearing and then send it back, whatever the recommendations are. We would then adopt two ordinances basically the same night. One would be to rezone the property and one would be to annex it in as we just zoned it.
So are they able to move forward with the boys' school without the annexation?
Not to my understanding.
They can do it without the annexation, but not without the zoning. And they couldn't get into our sewer system without the annexation.
So what is the benefit of council taking action on this now instead of waiting for the planning and zoning to?
Well, it would be a much longer process to do it that way. This is a shorter process.
For them, it's the benefit to them, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Because I would only add, in our speed and desire to hurry things up, we're stuck with the same infrastructure. For anyone who travels Beaver Road, between the hours of 4 and 5:30, trying to get off of Beaver Road is difficult. So I would only add that in our hurry to do this, we're gonna have, they told us 300 additional students on Beaver Road, so I would ask that you consider what that might do for the traffic pattern. And how does it benefit the taxpayers of Walton?
Do we understand the timetable for Boone County to review an annexation like this?
Yeah, my understanding would be we would, in the ordinary course of things, we would do the second reading and adoption of this ordinance next month. That would be July. If we should probably, that would probably leave enough time for the Planning Commission to hold a public hearing in August. And then in September and October, we could do the ordinances to annex and zone. So by the end of the year.
And so without moving forward, how much time?
Would that be appropriate? I mean, again, I'll defer to other council members, but I mean, is this something we could table and then they could run through the plan? Like is there, I think to Terry's point, what's the overall benefit of doing it today rather than allowing them to do it through Boone County?
Just gets the ball rolling.
Okay.
It's up to you all. I mean, as you know, annexations and zoning are up to council.
And I will say, I do appreciate them coming to the caucus meeting and explaining their desire instead of us hearing it on the back end, right? The great appreciation, but also gives us time to think about it and to hurry up and go nowhere, right? So that if we're gonna hurry up and help them move this through right away, if they're gonna build, and that's great. And I think what they're doing out on Beaver Road is they're a nice offering for community people who want a different schooling option. However, we're back to infrastructure. And so, again, it's hurry up and go nowhere because you can't move on Beaver Road as it is. Mr. Duncan, if we were allowed to go through the normal process without our vote tonight, then how much time does that potentially offer?
Well, they could apply for the zone change independently, and that would probably take till the end of the year also. Then you could consider whether or not to annex it. I would think if they went through that process, that the Planning Commission would probably put conditions on it for sewer and, road infrastructure, typically is what they would normally do anyway. I mean, that would slow down the process, but I don't know if the end result would be any different.
Yeah, and I don't, speaking personally, it's not my desire to keep them from building the school at all, but it's just infrastructure, right, and timing. We're gonna add, if you're talking about 300 students, a new boys' school, then you would have to consider how many cars that brings to and from Beaver Road, Monday through Friday, 7 months a year, 8 months a year.
I really don't have an issue with it. I just have an issue with doing this before it goes to the Planning Commission, because if something comes back, then we've already had this on record, so I think that puts the city in a situation if we disagreed with something down the road. That's my issue.
You would still have that prerogative.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really approving anything other than in expressing your intent to annex, as long as the zoning comes back agreeable to you. You still don't have to annex it if you don't like it.
Like, we could approve this, we could approve it at our second reading. Comes back from zoning, we could still turn around and say, no, if we.
That's
wanted
correct.
to.
Yep.
But then explain to us again the purpose of this right now. Why? How does that benefit us at all? It doesn't, correct?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
So I don't understand cart before the horse. And personally, I would rather let them go through the process and let it all. I don't understand why council's being asked to jumpstart it.
I think they probably just want us, and it'd probably be helpful if there was a representative here. They just want us to not, they don't want to get a situation Fisher got in. So they're saying, hey, is this cool if we move forward? We say, yeah, it's cool. And I think that's all they're asking. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't know if John, you can, sorry about that, John. Yeah, I mean, their school, they're just looking to expand. They're going from like 100 students now to 300.
I think it was 50, wasn't it?
Was it 50?
Yeah, in the basement. 50 in the basement to
Gotcha.
a full-size school housing 300 students.
Again, this is a consideration for first reading, so I mean, you can take that step and then have someone from their group here next month before you actually vote on approving the ordinance.
Or we could table it for another day, correct?
You could.
That's
Totally
what I
up to you.
move to do, is we motion to table.
I second it.
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yeah.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
No.
Matt Brown.
No.
Okay. Municipal Order 2022-08. Municipal Order of the City of Walton, Kentucky, reappointing and approving Jordan Simmons as a member of the Union Walton Joint Code Enforcement Board for a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2025. We need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Next would be Municipal Order 2022-09. Municipal Order of the City of Walton, Kentucky, awarding the 2022 Walton Streets project bid to Paul Michaels and Sons Incorporated for the total amount of $148,689. We need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
And we have Resolution 2022-04, resolution of the City of Walton, Kentucky, authorizing the city to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Boone County Fiscal Court to participate in the Boone County Rural Water Expansion Program. We need a motion to approve that.
This is the one where we had concerns with setting the monthly fee, correct? So,
Yeah.
I don't
We go
know.
to discussion. Mr. Duncan, can you give the, me and Mr. Duncan had some communication around this. And I know my concerns, we spoke, was that this would be never ending, this fee. And so Mr. Duncan was able to look into the stuff. So Mr. Duncan, can you explain?
Yes, I think the concern that was expressed was that the surcharge, the surcharge would go on indefinitely, whereas by the documentation, it would be a 20-year surcharge, very similar as if there was a bond issue placed for 20 years. Surcharge would be used to pay off that bond issue. This one's not going to be done by a bond issue. So in order to treat everyone in the county equally for these types of projects, the county is insisting that each one have a surcharge. And so it will end at least 20 years or before. That's the language in there, that they could relieve the surcharge earlier than 20 years. But the documentation does have a limit on it to take care of that concern that you all had.
I think John raised great points when the gentleman was here to talk to us about it. Seems like a win for the folks who potentially are tapping in, right? Which, Mayor, you pointed out are not Walton citizens, correct?
They are not, but we've actually, I mean, it's been asked before for the city to run our own water lines up there. It's been years, but it's been asked of the city before. The city never went forward with doing it.
And to be clear, this was grant money, correct?
I believe that's part of their...
So it costs the county nothing, correct?
I'm not sure that it costs them nothing, but
Well, I think that
it
was
is
part of it.
federal funds.
Us trying to understand why we would want to put that fee. And I hear Mr. Duncan said, in the spirit of consistency, and those folks who are already having to pay that fee, but which was a bond, and John did a great job explaining this when the gentleman was present. My only concern is we're just charging them $25 a month for 20 years just because we can. When it's, one, is it necessary? Two, can it be cheaper? Or are we just gonna agree with the county and say, take your 25 a month over 20 years, although the federal government's paying for this?
That's very fair. My understanding is that the people that would be affected by this have agreed to it, at least was my understanding with Jeff Earlywine's comments. Well, honestly, I don't know. Mike, you seem to think we can negotiate this?
No, there's no negotiation. It's a policy set by the Boone County Fiscal Court. Whenever they do these kinds of expansions, no matter where the money comes from, there still has to be a surcharge. And you're correct, there were public hearings and people agreed to pay it. Basically, it's a good deal for them because...
you don't have to haul water.
Well, and they're also not going to have to pay an assessment to get the sewer, to get the water line put up there. It's, I guess, a good deal for the city if we get additional customers and expand our ratepayer base.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
clarification.
I think all of that, and taking into consideration everything that was said, I think where I'm at is, I feel better about it, and I think it's with knowing that they're good with it, that there's that it will stop at 20 years, where before I was uncertain, that they can end it early, though probably unlikely, but they can in the language, and it gives them water. And then it's at no cost to the city taxpayers, because if we wanted to run lines up there, we'd have to pay for it, right? And so I've kind of, my thought is I'm good with it, and that's just where I'm at now. I think it's answered the questions that I needed to get answered.
Okay. Council, in order to move forward, I would need a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going through citizen comments, council comments. Councilman Stevens,
I'm good. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Councilwoman Courtney.
I agree with Howie. Thanks for everyone coming out and the familiar faces and those who continue to come. Thank you for being a part of your city.
Councilwoman Snowden.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Don't forget Johnny Boy.
I'll get to Johnny Boy.
Well, he sits here.
He's saving him for last.
He's sitting right there. Councilman Martin, now I'm just going to keep moving.
No, I'm good. Just thanks for everybody that's put in the paperwork to run in November. Mr. Morris, you're one of them, right? Yes, sir. Okay, cool. Yeah, best of luck. And yeah.
Thanks to our public works employees. We're working out in this heat. I'm sure it's been
Amen.
a fun couple of weeks for you. Thanks for all you do. And Joanna and the ladies. That's all I got, Gabe.
Okay, thank you. Johnny Boy.
Yeah, so, two things. I don't know why everyone's calling me Johnny. I'm looking for my nephew. But I appreciate it. What I would say first, I wish all the dads a happy Father's Day, and stepdads. And I know that's a big role as well. So hopefully everyone has a great weekend. I know my daughter is excited about the tea party this weekend at the games. So I'll be excited to see that back in use. So I appreciate all the people that put that together and are helping that project come along and bring that property to life. So thanks for that. And I already gave you one compliment. I won't give you another. So that's all I have.
Take it where I can get it, John. I thank everyone for the work that you all have put in recently. I appreciate y'all.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Howard Stevens.
Yes.
John Wainwright.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
You all have a great night.
Sharon, do you still have
It's 4:08
tickets?
o'clock.